Hello and welcome or welcome back to Cast On, a knitting podcast where I talk about my finished objects, my whips, some yarn acquisitions like this time and some more knitting things. My name is Ellie, I am from Austria and this is episode number 26. I am so glad you could join me again. This is now the second time that I have to film this because the footage just disappeared, as it does from time to time. No one knows, just gets blasted into the ether and never seen again. I am really happy you could be here again, so without further ado, grab your knitting, grab yourself a drink, which is very important. I have my bottle of water right next to me and we can get started with finished objects. And guys, I've been keeping a secret from you. I have been knitting on something which is my own design for the past month. Here it is. This is my own very first sweater design. I am so happy with how this has turned out. It is a turtleneck drop shoulder sweater. It is blocked and dried and everything, but I do have to change a few things. So this is the neck with a really nice slope right here. It is 2x2 rib, and then you have a tapered sleeve and the cuff, and the cuff is where the interesting bit kind of starts because it is a folded over cuff. It's going to look like this. I am super excited, but this is where pardon me, so I got some like caramel waffle stuck in my throat. This is where the problem lays. I completely forgot that because of the cuff I should not have decreased along here because I'm gonna fold it over like I just showed you. So essentially the cuff is smaller than the circumference around the wrist where you're supposed to stop. So what happened was that it now gives you this pocket right here because there's too much fabric for the circumference. So I need to change that. I need to open up both cuffs on both sleeves and redo those, tweak the numbers so you don't have decreases anymore, and then hopefully it will be fine. The bottom has also got a really nice 2x2 rib, so it matches the top and everything else. The yarn that I used, it is a DK weight. I used Drops Flora held double in this really nice baby blue color, and I am so happy with this. Drops Flora is, I'm not sure if it's a blend of alpaca and wool or if it's just alpaca, but it is super soft. It was very pleasant to work with. I held them double to get a DK gauge. I just can't say anything bad about it. I forgot to bring the skein. It is right over there so I can't tell you what color it is. I'm gonna link it down below in the description box so you can check it out if you like this as well. I've had this in my stash for 1.5 years now. I bought this the very first Christmas when I started knitting, which was in 2021. So this has seen some things, this yarn. Well, not seen some things, but I just really wanted to use it and just never really had a good project for it. So when I had the idea for this design, I knew I wanted to use this yarn and it turned out amazing. I don't have a name for it yet. I'm really into themes. I really like when people have a good theme. So because I can't use any like German name because no one knows how to pronounce any German thing, that is a no-go. So I thought I could combine my love for knitting with my love for reading and use my favorite book characters as the design's name. So for this one, I really like the name Noah or Theo, something along those lines. I want the name to reflect comfort and cozy and a really nice warm hug, so those two names kind of, I don't know, to me they sound comfortable. This sounds so strange, but yeah, something along those lines. If you have any name suggestions, leave them down below and help a girl out, because I'm really bad with these things, but I know that I do want to have kind of a theme in my designs, and I thought with reading and the amount that I read, that might not be a bad idea. So my one and only finished object, my own design. I am so pleased with how this has turned out. Maybe next time there will be a tester call, I am not sure yet. I still have to write the pattern, which is, I have a big amount of respect for that design stage, so I really just need to find the time to sit down, relax and kind of get into the flow of things with the second sample. Because there will be a second sample, I'm gonna tweak a few things and see if that's turning out to be okay. But like I said, potentially next time there might be a call for testers. So that is my one and only finished object. I am very proud of it, and it is so warm. I am really into sweaters at the moment. I am not a summer garment knitter. I don't really enjoy these knits, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So that was my one and only finished object. Now on to whips. Last time I told you I would have this finished, and of course I don't have it finished because with the move everything has just been all over the place. I've not really had the time to knit, so this is where I'm at with my Testknit. This is a stitch to wear by Courtney, or Courtney Knits on Instagram, and we have a finished body and we have one sleeve, which is really where the party kind of starts, or where it's at. I finished this up yesterday night. It does take a while, I'm not gonna lie, because there's just so much I-cord. You have the first flutter with an I-cord edge and then the second one with an I-cord edge. It looks really good. You're supposed to have one around the neck as well, but when I tried this on I thought it looked really good without one, so maybe I will change this once the whole thing is finished and it looks weird because all of the edges have an I-cord edge. I don't know yet, we're just gonna have to see. But I am really happy with how this is turning out. I tried it on, it fits perfectly. I am so happy about the fit. The yarn is incredible as well. This is Lene by Sandnesgarn in a really nice beige. This is color 3021. It is a linen, viscose and cotton blend, and it is my favorite summer yarn. I have said this time and time again, I just really like working with this yarn. I like to wear this yarn. It is fairly light and very cool to the touch, and when you wear it, it's very flowy and drapey, which I really like, because I think one of the worst things in summer can be something constrictive or constricting, and something that is kind of sticking and clinging to your body in all the wrong places. So really happy with this. There have been a few hiccups on the flutters. I had to reknit the first one completely because there was a mistake in the pattern, but now that is fixed. So tonight I'm gonna start at least the second one, and next time it will be finished. I am way ahead of the deadline, which is really good. I started this really early on and finished the yoke way earlier than expected, because I knew I'm gonna be moving. I don't really like to be stressed. So next time this will be done. It will be done. Mark my words. It is a fingering weight project. You work on 3mm needles, or I do, to get a gauge, and it takes a while. It really does. Like, the body took so long. I opted for the waist shaping, and next time I will, like I said, show you once it's finished and see how I like it. But the fit is great so far. I tried it on and the fit is incredible. First whip. Second whip, another summer garment. This is the Crescendo Summer by Sophie, the knit Purl girl. And last time I only had a little bit, I think. I can't quite remember. But now I completely finished the yoke and I split for the body and sleeves, and I'm just now working on the body. This has knit up so quickly. The lace is incredible. If you want to get into lace, I think this is a really great pattern to start out with, because it's not the whole yoke lacy, and it's a very easy and memorizable lace chart. So this was super quick and super fun. I opted for the I-cord neck at the top, but what happened was I kind of messed up the first row. As you can see, the stitches are really stretched out. You can see it even better on the inside. The first row is just, yeah, somewhere else. I have never done an I-cord cast on, so this was my very first time, and first of all, it takes forever. I had to split this over a couple of days to finish because it was just a slog, and I messed up the needle sizes in the pattern. She tells you to use 3 and 4mm needles, but because I wasn't familiar with this technique, I just used 4mm for the whole thing, and I think that's why the first row is just super stretched out. I don't think you can really tell. I mean, it is along the neck edge, so whatever. It's, yeah, it is what it is. Super happy with how this is turning out. As you can tell, I do have a lot of beige projects at the moment. I think beige is just a really great summer colour. It goes with everything. And this yarn is Lene, so the pardon me, the bigger brother sister of Tynn Lene, again by Sandnesgarn. This is what it looks like. This is the colour 3042. It's something called Cafe au lait, I believe, and it knits up really nicely. The only thing is that because it has some linen in it, it really digs into my finger, and I had big problems with Tynn Lene when I was working on my Testknit, because it is a fingering weight project, and after a while it really digs into the finger because the yarn is so thin and it's not super smooth, or not as smooth as wool or merino. So I had kind of the same problem with this, even though this is the DK weight. But I really enjoy working with this yarn. It doesn't stretch as much through blocking, but it does stretch out through wear. So do be aware of that when you use this yarn to work with on your projects, that you might stretch out the garment, just like I guess with any summer yarn really. But this will be my travel project for the next couple of weeks maybe. Because now it's just knitting in around the body. I am gonna make the sleeves first and then finish the body. I do this quite frequently just because I know I like to have full length sleeves, or like the right length for the sleeves, but I'm not too bothered if it's cropped, because the problem that I have with this shirt is that I don't have enough yarn from the get-go. I am 1 yarn ball short. I knew this when I started it. I did it anyway, and I am not sure if there will be a big difference in the dye lot, because I bought this yarn about a year ago now. So obviously there can be changes within 1 year, and if the dialogue is vastly different, then I might just have a crop version, I guess, or like shorter sleeves. We'll see when we come to this. But right now I just joined with the 3rd ball, so I still have 2 I think left. I think you need 6 in total and I got 5. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Super excited to work on it because tomorrow I'll be traveling, so I'm gonna take this with me. Get a sip of water, stay hydrated, very, very important at this time of year to drink enough water. And onto my last whip. I have not really worked on this that much, to be honest, just because first of all I didn't have the time with all the moving stuff, that I barely had any knitting time at all, and the time that I did have I spent it on my Testknit really and my own design. So this is the Porcelain Sweater by Lene. She is called Lene. Let me grab my phone. I always forget her name. Here we go. Lene Samsøe. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm really sorry, I don't know. But she's known as Lene, and this is how far I am right now. Last time I haven't started the colour work portion yet, but now I have. I'm about halfway through this beautiful star that you have here, and this is the first time doing colour work flat. Can't say I enjoy it, but you have to do it. So I am going to be very happy once I join in the round. I don't know why I didn't think of this when I started this project, that you will have to work flat in the colour work portion because it is a drop shoulder design. I don't know. Sometimes you just don't think of these things. But I wouldn't say this is a particularly beginner friendly pattern because you have to work flat, and it is very difficult. And the difficult bit is not the colour work itself, it's those white rows in between the colour work, because what you have to do is you still have to carry the contrast colour with you. So you still have to have the floats in the back, but at the front obviously you don't use the contrast colour. That takes a while when you don't use the colour, because you have to catch your floats every 3 to 4 stitches. And I made a mistake, of course, the very first time I knit the first row, because I was like, now I'm at the end with my white, where is the brown at the other end? So I had to rip it all out again. But that's okay. Well, it's not, but I have to tell myself it's okay. So this is where I'm at. I'm really happy with the colour choices that I made. I am using Drops Karisma in the colour 1, which is the off-white colour, and then colour number 4, which is like a chocolate brown. I think those two pair really, really well together. They're both 100% superwash wool, one of my favourite wool yarns. Super affordable, I love it. And you might think, is you using wool and knitting up a wool sweater in summer not ideal? I say I don't care. I really felt like casting on a sweater, so I did. I don't know how much I will be working on this, I have to be honest though, because I just have other priorities at the moment. First of all, I have to finish my Testknit, and then I really want to work on my own designs at the moment. I have so many ideas, and once we get into the yarn acquisition section, you will see that I have bought more yarn for my own designs, even though there are so many beautiful sweaters out there that I really want to make. At the moment I just feel like the creativity juice, the creative juices, and everything's flowing, and I really have to take advantage of that. I have a lot of things planned, and hopefully quite a few releases this autumn winter season, so I'm very excited about this. So like I said, don't know how far I will get on this, but I love colour work. I started out with colour work. The first sweater that I made, I've said this, like I told you the story 100 times now, but the first sweater that I ever made was a bottom of 3 colours colour work sweater, and that's kind of where my love for colour work stems from, and I wish I could do more of it with not only my designs but also just have more colour work sweaters. So yeah, those were all of my whips. I breezed through them, but let's get into acquisitions. So the first acquisition I have already teased is some yarn for my not next design, but one of the designs I'm working on at the moment. It is going to be a striped sweater, and I'm going to use these 2 colours. This is a Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool. It is 100% wool in an Aran weight, Aran/worsted. 16 to 20 stitches is the stitch gauge, and you do get 100 meters and 50 grams. So this is colour number 1, very standard off-white, and then this is colour 973. If you compare it to Drops Karisma, you can definitely see a big difference. This is the chocolate brown, it is a lot darker, and this one has got like a heathered look to it. It's almost grey or a light beige in the brown itself. So I think that these 2 go really well together. I did not think about the colour choice that I would already have a colour choice like this when I ordered it. When it arrived, I was like, oh, I'm already making something with off-white and dark brown. I mean, I really like this combination. I think high contrast looks really, really good. So I am happy about this. I already knit up the swatch with my design idea, and it works really, really well. So I am super excited to start casting this one on. I don't know when. I still have to tweak the numbers a little bit. And I need to think about, do I want it to be a drop shoulder or a raglan? Because I am not too sure yet. But this will be one of the designs I am working on. It is the first time I am working with Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool. I heard a lot of things about this yarn, a lot of good things, and I love Filcolana's mohair. The mohair is called Tilia. I rave about this all the time. I am really sorry, but it is just my favorite mohair. The color selection is amazing. It is super soft and it doesn't itch, which is the most important thing for me, that it doesn't itch, because I am quite sensitive to mohair, and especially around my neck it's just a no-go for most fibers. But I also have the sock yarn, Arvetta I think it's called. I have some of it, but I also haven't used it yet. I do have a sweater planned for this. I talk about this in one of my older episodes when I bought it back in January or February, I can't even remember. But now I'm trying out this yarn, and I think it's really affordable for 100% wool, and I think it's non-superwash as well. I could be wrong on that, but they have great colours, and so far it feels really nice, and I can't wait to start working with it. So that was my one and only yarn acquisition. I bought a lot of this yarn because I don't know yet how much I will actually need, and let's be honest, you can never have enough yarn. Even though looking at my yarn shelf, you can definitely have too much yarn. It's a very full shelf, and I don't have any space for any more yarn to even store it, so I need to figure something out and just use up a bunch of yarns. Anyway, I have 2 more acquisitions, but they are not yarn. The first one, because I had problems with the yarn digging into my finger, I bought this. I don't know if you can get this anywhere else or what it's called, I have no idea, but it's essentially a little sleeve with a gel or silicone in the middle, so it doesn't rub or slide on your finger. You can use it for your toe or your fingers. My grandma loved those things. That's kind of how I knew about them, and I'm gonna try them out for the linen blends that I'm working with and see if that helps, because what you can do is you can roll this onto your finger and hopefully it won't rub anymore. I say hopefully because, as you can see, it's unopened. I don't know if this will actually work, but I do have very high hopes for it, because this is exactly what it's supposed to be for, against rubbing. So that is the first thing that I bought. And then the second thing, in this apartment I have noticed that there are quite a lot of creatures, quite a lot of flying things and moths, which obviously as a knitter with wool and as a sewist with fabric, we are not stoked about this. And now that I have my yarn displayed on a shelf and not in plastic boxes anymore with the lid and completely sealed, I am very worried about moths eating my yarn. So I really wanted to be prepared in case there is an outbreak or there is a problem. So I wanted to stock up on lavender. And I didn't know how much 1 kilogram of lavender would actually be, but it's a lot. It is a lot. It is this massive bag of lavender buds. This is from France. I got this off Amazon. Highly recommend this. You get, as you can see, so much, and you don't just have to use this for your yarn, you can also use it for fabric, for your clothes where you store them, because obviously moths also eat through shirts and all of that. And this bag is sealed, but it smells incredible. You can smell the lavender through the bag. I haven't opened this yet, but when I got it, I put it on my shelf, and then the next day I came into the room and it just smelled of lavender. So it's really a really intense smell. I have quite a few sachets lying around, which I bought a long time ago from Amazon, so I'm gonna fill this into these sachets and absolutely pepper this shelf with lavender sachets. So it hopefully will be protected. If not, then I will have to put it back into boxes and see where I can store them, which would be a shame because I bought this shelf specifically for my yarn and fabric. But yeah, this costs about 30 euros. I'll leave a link down below. Highly recommend getting this bag if you feel like you also want some more lavender sachets, or just lavender in general to fill up, because I feel like lavender can be quite expensive, especially when you buy them in super small quantities. You get like 3 sachets and you're already paying 10 euros. And like I said, for this bag, I think in total it was like 28 euros, so let's round it up to 30. You get a whole kilogram, so you can't really compare those two. So yeah, those were all of my acquisitions. And if you're not interested in any life updates, then I hope I will see you next time, and let's get into some stuff that's been happening, how I've been adjusting and all of that stuff. I'll be working on my Crescendo summer top in the meantime, because if I don't, like every knitter, I feel like I'm wasting precious time. So you have to be always knitting on something, and I'm just gonna set this up and then we can have a little chat. So in general, I've been adjusting fairly well. I'm about 95% moved out of the old place, which is very good. I still have to go back once in a while because I still need to paint the walls and sort out a few things and get, you know, the rest of my boxes and my skis and just random stuff, Christmas decoration stuff that you don't need in summer. I still need to take that with me, but the move has been really stressful and a lot more expensive than I thought it would be, but I am very pleased with how the apartment is looking right now, with all of my stuff in and the furniture I wanted to have in. I am so happy that I could finally make my dream come true of a massive bookcase and yarn corner where I can display my two favourite things. And I also have a desk now where I can leave my sewing machine on, which was also a big point for me, where I said that in the next place that I have, I really would like to have that, and I managed to do that, which is very good. Next week, hopefully, I will upload a home tour of my old place, also for you guys to see what it used to look like, and also for me as like a memory of forever to be held. And I also filmed all of the move, so maybe the week after the next podcast I can upload another kind of like episode of this three-parter of my whole moving process, and then the last video I will show you how I live right now, because I really like those videos and I think it's always fun to see how people organize their yarn and books and all of that stuff. So I hope that you will enjoy those videos as well, because they've been a lot of work. Apart from that, it's just been a lot of organizing, and something that no one tells you when you move is you have so many boxes, an incredible amount of paper and carton, and just rubbish in general. It is insane. My whole gangway is currently filled with carton because of all of the furniture I built that over the week that I've been living here, and it's just been piling up because the bin men only come once a week, so I had to wait, and it's just insane. The last week I've just spent organising, like I said, organising my yarn, my bookshelf, building lots of furniture. The kitchen is still a bit of a mess. I have absolutely no counter space, so cooking is really difficult for me at the moment. I don't have the motivation to cook a lot, which of course is not great, because you need food, and when you're living alone, you have no one else to do it for you, and ordering takeaway is just not sustainable. So I kind of been put off and just been living off toast. I'm trying to get better at it. I made a few meals which lasted me for a couple of days because they've been just big meals. But apart from that, everything's been okay. I got some new taps because the other ones were leaking, so that got sorted out really quickly, which I'm very thankful for. That my landlord said the day after that they are going to come round, have a look at it, and then exchanged the taps immediately. The only issue I've had so far, or why I'm saying I am adjusting fairly well, is because I've not been sleeping very well. This has been a problem from day one, and I really hope that this is not going to be a long-term problem. Normally I am a really deep sleeper, but for some reason I just can't rest at night here. I am very active, and when you live alone, sleepwalking is not great. especially when you are up every night, because I am scared for myself that I will hurt myself without knowing, because I am only semi-conscious. I do now realize when I am sleepwalking and I don't do anything stupid. I've never done anything stupid. I hope that won't be the case at all as well, like ever. But it is a scary thought to know that you are on your own, and at night you do get up without being completely conscious of what you're doing, and that there's just no one around. So that has just not been great for me. I think all of that has just been caused due to stress. The first few nights I've been really stressing about the floors, because the floors are really uneven. So when I build stuff, I was just so stressed that things would topple over during the night, so I would get up and then just randomly go back to sleep. But I really hope that this is going to get better in the next few days, and if not, then I don't know, might have to take some sleeping medication. I would prefer not to do that because I don't like to be medicated. I don't think that you should really interfere with the natural cycle of the body, but if my brain just can't shut off, then that might just be the best option for me. So are you a sleepwalker? I would be very interested to know. I have never sleepwalked as much as I have over the last week, thereabouts, week and a bit. So it's kind of, I do have some funny stories of what I did during the night. But yeah, I would be interested if you also sleepwalk as an adult now, because I do know that children do that a lot as well, just like kind of how it started with me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is everything that I really had to talk about. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. Like and subscribe to my channel, share this video if you feel like it, share the love, and tell someone else about my channel to grow this family. And I hope you're all well, you're not just melting because of the heat, because I do know that brain fog, brain fog is a real thing. I can vouch for that, and it's not fun in summer. So I do hope that you're okay. Stay hydrated, get lots of knitting done, and join me for next week's video where I'm going to show you my old home, and I'm going to see you later. Happy knitting! Bye!